Well, good evening, and thanks for stopping by Degrees of Shining. Tonight I'm sitting in for Elisa. My name is Vespa Palm. As you can see, I might be a relative to Medusa, but she's simply nothing more than a country Gorgon hick, and I have far more style than she does. Anyways, if you'd like to see how I do my makeup, and if you want to see how to create this look, please stay tuned. Okay, babies, let's get started. Let me apologize up front to start. I'm pretty sure this is going to take at least 2 or 3 installments from start to finish. And probably what I started with is probably not what I ended up with, which of course you'll see in the intro to this video. I have a concept, but I really don't know how it's going to come out. So let me start by showing you some of the inspiration. Viper Palm. Palm Viper. Character's name is Viper Palm. So you kind of get the idea. I'm looking at some snakes, vipers, fun. And of course, when Dr. Drroxxette introduced the contest, she talked about Medusa. So I started gelling this idea of doing a Medusa-like look, obviously for Halloween, but of course I didn't get to go out this year. So what I'm going to do is try to perfect this for next year so I can actually wear it out. But I am not Medusa. I am her cousin, and her name is Viper Palm. And of course, she's a little sick of hearing about how she and Medusa are so much alike because, you know, in her mind, Medusa is a country Gorgon and a hick and backwoods, and she's, you know, stylish and educated and has a lot to say about the world. So, but you'll get to meet her if you click over here in Dr. Drroxxette's response video. So, okay, so let's get started. I already did a few things to prep my face. Obviously, wash, cleanse, moisturize, oil control, matte gel. I'm using the Monostat for that. And then I went ahead and put on some foundation in this area of my face and down. I have an upset face of late. I don't know why. Hormones, who knows. But anyway, so I have foundation on. I went ahead and set it with some Mineralize powder, and then I did some contouring with some bronzer and then a darker skin finish. And then my eyes, I actually went ahead and used, oh yeah, here we go. I decanted what was left in my Urban Decay Primer Potion bottle. Y'all, we all need to complain about that bottle. You think it's empty, it's not. You crack it open and look at how much is left in there. That's a MAC sample bottle, sample container. That's a lot. So yeah, you need to crack those open and scrape all that out if you can in the most sanitary way and get it into a clean container. Don't just throw it out because you're wasting a lot of product. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top part of my head with some texture. So if you look, snake has a lot of scaly look, quite cool texture to it. So I thought I would try to grab Petri Lute's technique with the fishnet pantyhose. Now I have no idea how this is going to work. I'm going to experiment on camera, lay down a foundation that's a little bit lighter. There's nothing on this part of my face. There's foundation and contouring down here going on, but I'm going to use some Painterly Paint Pot, and I'm just going to use my finger, and I'm just going to dab it onto the top part of my face, up over my forehead, to the side, and I'm just hoping that this will help the texture color that I'm going to lay down adhere and make it pop out a little bit more. I suppose we could even do this with like a NYX Jumbo Stick in white, which I probably will use on my eyes. But I just want to lay down something to brighten and lighten. You can see it's lighter in this area now. Alright, so I have the Painterly on my forehead now, and now we're going to play with the fishnet. I think he created a little stretcher for it. I'm just going to put it on my head. Isn't this cute? Ain't I cute? Don't I look like a bank robber? Okay. Pull it down, and I think what I'm going to do is just kind of stretch it so that there's some texture. Okay, now I look like a bank robber. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to pull it down and hold it where I'm going to actually lay some texture. So I'm going to stipple on color, and like I said, I laid down that lighter Painterly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mehron palette, that big ass palette that I have, excuse my language, and a sponge, and I'm going to use my Sonia Krushak sponge. I actually have a couple of these. I replace them every couple of months, and I didn't throw these out because they're good for stage makeup. I mean, this is the end that I use mostly, so you can see it wears away, but these pointy ends are kind of fantastic, so I thought I would use this. And I'm going to take a spray bottle and just spray some color. I think we'll start with green. Yeah, we'll start with green. And so I'm just going to wet that, and then I'm going to dab my little sponge, which has been washed. Sorry, you can't see me. I'm dabbing in my color. And I'd already washed and dampened the sponge, and so now I have some color on the sponge. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and dab this over in the area. And then I'm going to lay down some black. Let's try here on this side of my face. And the trick is to hold it in place. I guess if you have a stretcher, it might be a little bit easier to hold it in place. But I'm just going to dab that in the corner here. Of course, I can't really see what I'm doing because I have bright light in my eye, and I'm looking in my mirror. And like I said, I have a concept, but I have no idea how this is going to turn out. So you all have to work some black in the middle here. Middle of my forehead. I'm going to lift this up gently. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so now I need to do the other side. I'm just going to bring this down and do the same thing. All right. That's pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to take this off. And look at that. That is pretty sweet. Okay, so love the texture. Give this a shot. I think if you're careful and don't make too much movement, it really creates some neat texture. And you can always go back in and clean up. But look how sharp those lines are. Okay. Okay, so I am really pleased with this. I was really surprised at how it turned out. I am going to go back in and do some detail work on it in a minute, but I'm going to do the next part of my eye area. And the first thing I need to do is lay down some white. I think if you're already lighter skinned, it's easy to make color pop out on your skin. But if you're darker like me, mid-toned, mixed ethnicity, sometimes it's harder to get colors to pop. So I'm going to take NYX Jumbo Stick and Milk, which is basically a white, and I am going to lay this all over my lid. Okay, so now I have the white down on my eyes. I'm going to go ahead and work with another idea that I came up with, which is to create a snake slit eye on my lid that appears when my eye is closed. And so I did a little bit more research, because that's what librarians do, and tried to figure out how you would draw a snake eye. And these are a few different kinds, and I'm going to do this slitted one. And to start that, I am going to go ahead and use a silver pigment. I'm going to use, I believe this is MAC Silver Fog. I get these samples. I like these better than buying a full jar of something that I'm never going to use completely. So I'm just going to take a flat eyeshadow brush. This is my Sonia Kashak. Dab that in the pigment, and then I'm just going to lay this all over the lid. Okay. The next thing is to go ahead and create the slit in the middle of the lid. I have ice gold everywhere now. It says messy! Messy! Okay, tap that off. Set that aside. And I think the best way to do this is to take my my Mehron palette and a brush, and I am going to use, there's my smaller brush. Okay, so I have two paint brushes, both that come to a very nice fine point. So I think I'm going to start with the little one. I'm going to spray my palette and just go ahead and dab into that. And then I'm going to take my picture, and I'm going to close my eye, and right in the middle, top to bottom, draw a line.